Man, it was really, really good. Another episode of themodernblackman.com. I'm joined with the big homie, Lil A, a man that is on a mission to continuously and consistently create relatable content for families and communities. Um, I should allow him to introduce himself. I'm probably more of a fan than anything else, but A, I appreciate you joining me.
I appreciate you having me again.
For sure, for sure. Man, we got a lot to talk about this week. It's a lot of foolishness going on in the world, and I appreciate our focus this time being on, just some things that are probably going to be a little bit more productive for us, constructive at best. I definitely want to hit up on the events of last night. I think that a lot of the country was trying to enjoy the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fiasco. I have a lot of opinions on that one. It was not what I expected it to be. And if I'm really being honest, I don't think I was disappointed. What were your thoughts about the events of Jake Paul, Mike Tyson last night?
My thoughts on that. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be brutally honest. My thoughts on that is I knew he was gonna lose. Tyson was gonna lose. I just wanted to see if he still got it. And for him to be damn near 60 or a 60-year-old man, he's damn good in shape. He's more shape than I am. I give him that.
right?
But him still fighting? No. I had a little argument with my team earlier, and I told him like either he's broke or it was the money. And
Mm,
I say this because what does he have to prove to jump in the ring again?
right.
What does Jake Paul have to prove to fight a 60-year-old man?
It's a
So
lose lose.
it would have been a lose-lose for Jake Paul anyway.
Mm,
Even him winning, it was a lose-lose for him anyway. So if he would have lost, it would have been a lose regardless. Everybody just would have been talking about he got beat up by old ass men.
I thought the
But
old man was gonna get him.
yeah, but the thing about it is either he was just sparring with the old man just to be sparring or what. But I don't see that actually being a fight versus all the rest of the fights that J. Paul had.
Whoa, wait a minute. You saying that was more of a fight than any of the other fights he had?
For him to lose by an old man by four, or for him to win fighting an old man by 4 points versus the rest of his fights he had by knockouts and stuff like that. That that shouldn't even look. That really should win. That shouldn't. That fight shouldn't have went past 4 rounds. I'm sorry.
So I'm not missing your point. I heard everything you said. I just think that Jake Paul, he got my respect the first time he knocked out Tyron Woodley. The second time he did it, he got my respect and my attention. The fact that he respected a 60-year-old Mike Tyson, I'm starting to become a bit of a fan. I don't know where that ranks his boxing skills, where that puts him in the big picture of the sport, but I see evolution. When he
Yeah.
knocked out Nate Robinson, it was still a gimmick to me because Nate Robinson's a midget. So now we're building a pathology. He
Yeah.
likes to confront the weak. That reeks of a bully to me. He's
Right.
fighting midgets and geriatrics, but like I said, my affinity has grown because he knocked out Tyron Woodley not once, but twice. This guy might actually be a competitor. He might actually know something about the sport.
Yeah,
I just,
and
mhm.
I just seen like I look at it like from the rest of this fight from now, I couldn't, it just didn't look like no that type of fight to me. Is it kind of look like he was holding back, or if you weren't holding back, you just showed me how much of this old man had much juice than normal.
Right.
So and now it's kind of iffy looking at that, because if he was holding back, that's another thing. But if you wouldn't hold back for you to win, barely win, I look at that like, because he didn't really throw no punches.
He didn't.
You know what I'm
He
saying? To
didn't.
connect to hit Tyson. Tyson barely connected anything. He threw what, maybe 60 punches throughout the whole fight and
I think he
collected
threw a little bit
14%.
more than that, but where Tyson, when I analyzed it, Tyson threw a lot of power and he connected with a lot of power. I don't think his ratio was better than Paul, but that's his instinct because that
Yeah.
was the kind of fighter Mike Tyson was. He connected more power punches than jabs. And I don't think Jake Paul threw more than I don't have the information in front of me, but I want to say he only threw 99. But Jake Paul might have threw like 100 and something. So there wasn't a lot of
It wasn't no,
jabs
it
thrown.
wasn't it wasn't much more. It was probably like what, like you said, 99 to maybe what, 112, 115, 120 at the
Right.
most.
Right. It was crazy, right? Because we used to watching these Floyd Mayweather fights, be honest, these little guys fight, not heavyweights, and they throw 300 and something doggone jabs over the course of 12 rounds. So I
Yeah.
like the format, but I'm not trying to say it's bastardized boxing. I'm just saying that it's not authentic to the sport. And it is for media. It is for consumption, entertainment. And I like it. I was entertained enough. If we're really being honest, that Serrano Katie Taylor fight was the fight of the night. That was the only bout that was real pros going for it, trying to get that belt. And didn't Katie Taylor headbutt her like 6 times? Like she violated. She violated. Serrano's probably going to challenge that. And I want to see part two of that fight more so than I want to see Mike Tyson back in the ring. And I hate
Well,
women
I
fighters.
guess I read an article said that was his last fight, but I doubt that'd be his last fight, because he was on tour all this time as well fighting. So again, it's like for you to be on tour and for you to still be out here 60 years old fighting, it was crazy to me. That's why I
Yeah.
was like, what is it for you to prove? You got your own weed, your own weed for you selling. You making your
Got
money.
money. He got money
Yeah,
now.
you got money. So you can't be broke.
Right. He ain't broke.
Like it had to be the bag. You got that guaranteed bag. Netflix paid you straight up front. Hit your account. Just get ready. Like you
I
had
don't
the
know
bag.
what it
It
was.
had to be.
I don't know how he talked him into it. But Jake Paul, is he a real boxer now? Because that kid's not even 30.
No,
No.
I don't. For you to have your own cologne and your own drink, I don't see. For you to be a YouTuber, I don't see you being a boxer. I just see you being a YouTuber supporting your own brand.
He's a great promotional agent, though. He's like Don King. Like his promotion, it's on
Uh huh.
point. It makes sense. Um, and if I'm speaking freely, if I'm really being real, he's a fuck boy. Jake Paul is maturing, and I think that that's what's going to be an incredibly hard transition for us to watch because we like this peak. And once you reach a peak, what comes next? You got to fall down the mountain. And I'm not wishing bad on Jake Paul, but there's going to be failure. That's the only way he'll continue to grow and for us to continue to even entertain him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that.
So that's what I'm looking forward to, because Mike Tyson then crashed out, peaked again, and reached greater heights in this version of himself. I hope this doesn't hurt Mike Tyson's brand.
I doubt it.
I don't think
Mike
it will.
Tyson, it. And see, this is another conversation we had earlier as well too. All money ain't good money,
Right.
but for someone to be in his shoes, he won. He won all the way around. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier. What does he have to prove? Even for him, for his legacy, one to get, it could have been a charity stunt. But again, what does he have to prove to get back in the ring? What did he have to prove to Jake Paul? What did Jake Paul have to prove to him?
Jake Paul idolized him like we all did. We all idolized Mike Tyson. They ran his stats last night. This was his 7th loss in a career that spans 4 decades, the 80s, the 90s, the 20s, and he took time the time off maybe in the 10s, but he's back in the 20s. He's got a decade that spans a career that spans 5 decades. So do you think Mike Tyson will go down as a greater champion than Muhammad Ali?
Yes.
I agree.
Yes, and I say this, and it goes back to, again, what did he have to prove? I say this, and I say yes, because if you think about it, Mike Tyson actually put people on. He gave people shots and chances to come out. And yeah, don't get me wrong, Muhammad Ali, he was a legend. He was very smart. He was intelligent. He put people up on game. But he never, in his sport, put nobody on.
He was a cultural icon, and we'll always remember Ali.
He was a hero, like Black Panther type hero. He supported his his people.
Yeah,
I get that. He was he was the icon,
Yeah.
But he gave back to his community as well. He was that icon for his community. So I get it, but at the end, like boxing wise, the actual sport, who has he actually gave that chance and fighting to put him on?
I really don't know. I can't point to anyone, but Mike Tyson, he was the fiercest competitor the sport has ever seen. There's been no one like him since. No one just shows up as a teenager in the sport of boxing and dominates for a decade, let alone 2 or 3. No one remains relevant for that long either. Just like we established, Ali, he was an icon for the culture at large. He was an icon for his people. He was a hero. He was a different beast. But my point, and why I think I haven't left the sport, I love boxing. Who's left? There's no heavyweight hero in our current culture. There's a few guys, and the sport's gotten, I would say, more diverse, but there's no dominant force in the sport of boxing.
All sports got more diverse. Yeah. Soccer got more diverse. Everything
except baseball.
Except baseball. I can get that. Baseball, baseball got more diverse too.
No,
baseball. Yeah. I
In
say
the
this: the
70s,
baseball is starting to have more fights. Baseball is starting to become more popular about fights and everything else. People getting injured throwing balls at each other. So baseball is starting to become that sport, that thing as well. So,
in
like
the
I said,
70s, the league baseball was like 70 something percent black. Black kids now, it's less than 10% representation in college. I want to say it's 1% representation in college. I got to look at some facts on that, but it's gotten a lot less diverse. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. So the only reason I say that is because St. Louis is one of the few towns where you grow up playing baseball. You go to parks and everyone plays ball because we play sports. It's a sports culture that's not like most places. I just think baseball is the one sport we can safely say it might have gotten more popular because there's more people, but it's not. I don't think it's more diverse because those same Roberto Clementes, those same, I'll just call them cans, whether they Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Jamaicans, they've been in the league. It's just that now the representation is mostly Latin, and I think
yeah,
that's possibly what changed because we have racial identities that have evolved, just like this Trump thing. If anybody watches the episode tomorrow, we're gonna touch on that a little bit. Um, Latinos got Trump in office. Let's see
yeah.
how he turns the favor. Let's see how he acknowledges this group.
I like how he came out and said he was trying to get out of the white people reparations. But
Right.
if you pay attention to what white really means, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
you'll know what he meant when he said he's gonna get white people their reparations.
Tell me more. What you mean?
Well, technically, if you look in the dictionary or the law dictionary, black is not, it doesn't exist. African Americans really doesn't exist. So
Mm.
when you go back and really know that lingo, like I don't even put African American on noting my IDs or my I like driver's license. It's not even on
Mm-hmm.
my ID no more.
Okay.
It's like American Indian, Caucasian American Indian. Like everything I is for Caucasian American Indian because that shit there. If the law tells you that it ain't such thing.
Okay. Indigenous is what you identify as.
Yeah, sure. You can change your whole nationality through the Social Security Office Administration.
Mm-hmm. I don't like the term BIPOC because of probably what you're about to elaborate on, because people are uninformed and they don't know what that means. But I think you're absolutely right. Indigenous is what it is. Original is very interchangeable with the term indigenous, but I digress.
Yeah. Uh, it's a lot you can deal with going through when you talk about indigenous or changing your status or so on and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in a way, you're right.
But I think Trump is going to have a lot of surprises. I know I was doing some media for a show in Chicago, and my homegirl, she couldn't believe the answers I was giving her, but I absolutely predicted Trump. I mean, we don't have to talk about who I voted for or didn't vote for, but I've been saying it on this show for years. Trump's racist ass was unbeatable in this election, and I really want history to be able to show that. Um, Trump was going to win this come hell or high water 5 years ago. He hedged his bet while he was in office. And I think that that's what we need to acknowledge in history. That's what's really important. That's the power play. That's what's different with him as an entity. Trump has
Yeah,
power.
that he does. Um, it's amazing how much power he has because he said he was what he was gonna do, like that war.
Mm-hmm.
Last time he was in office, we never had a war. We never went into war. We had all the troops home that's supposed to be home. You know what I'm saying? Now that they were
Yeah.
supposed to be out there doing what they was doing in the middle, in the meantime. But everybody was home.
Yeah.
It's amazing how he said all it takes is one phone call in the middle of his presidency. And that's exactly what he did in the first 48 hours to stop that war with everybody.
Look at the weak leaders now. They're calling and saying that they're willing to talk. They're willing to go with whatever Trump wants to do. They're so much more malleable because, and this isn't a slight on Biden, Harris, or anything like that, but hegemony. Anyone that's a student of history, we don't have to call it white man's burden, but the white man's incumbency is different when he is traditional.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad he's in office. Uh, you ask me, Biden was a pussy his whole 4 years in office. He let everybody run over him. He let all the other countries run over him. Even when he gave the time to her, Kamala, to run it, when she did run it a little bit, she was a pussy. She let everybody run over her. Look at her election. Her whole election pretty much proved that she was letting everybody run her for what they wanted.
I want to talk about the topic that you were suggesting to me, where we talked about the family model. We talked about. Why don't you elaborate on that topic a little bit?
Oh, I wanted to talk about it because I know it's a known thing. Uh, should a man have to give money for a woman? Uh,
Should a father take custody or provide financial support to the
for a
mother
woman,
in
yeah,
time of financial hardship?
for financial hardship, yeah, that was what it was. And I actually wanted to touch a base on that because that's kind of what I'm kind of going through right now. And I hear a lot of women saying, just give me the money. And somebody made a comment point one time. I was listening to one of the guys. I follow him a lot. His name is Child Support is Fried. I don't know if you've seen him.
Mm-mm.
Well, he's a good guy. He beat child support because he was on it for 22 years. And he actually beat it, got it dismissed, stuff like that. Well, he made a valid point when he was speaking some laws and true facts when it comes to the child support. And
Mm-hmm.
he made a point where he said, do you want support, or do you want child support?
Tell them.
It's a difference, a very big difference. Because when you get support, you can get money, you can get help when you need it, you can get whatever you want if you not communicate with a parent, vice versa. When you get child support, you're getting half of what you want. You're not gonna get what you need, and you have to fight with that parent because you got this white man in the middle of your business.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching this video, and the lady I had posted it on my page, and the lady had pretty much speaking on how a lot of women want their bills to be paid because they can't pay them, or want the father to pay their bills because they can't pay them because they had the kid. And I feel like that is very fucked up, selfish. That seemed like to me that's a money you holding the baby or the kids for a clutch for money purposes. That's how I look at it. Uh, Insurance, like the kids must be like insurance purposes or something. I don't know, but me personally, I feel like it's fucked up for a female to hold a kid, knowing that the daddy can take care of that kid or kids if they have a job in the meantime, or vice versa. When you're down and out to get back on your feet. I ain't saying they got to keep the kid. I ain't saying they got to run off with the baby or something. But just till you get on your feet, get you a house, you know, get you a job, whatever you lacking on to get stable for your kids, so y'all can be like on one accord. But I feel like that you shouldn't keep no kid away from the mother or the father just to get money from it. And I wanted to talk about that because it just irks my soul.
I got a lot of points on that though. Like, it's such an interesting dynamic because it's all issues in one. There are places where rent is affordable, right? I don't
Uh-huh.
live in one of those places. I'll be wanting to go to Kansas or Missouri or a lot of places where I know rent is significantly less than it is on the coast or in LA or Dallas or any of the top 5 cities, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then you throw in that wrinkle of child support. It's the cost of living on your own. And what we've done is we've tried to commoditize it and make it attractive to live all on your own as a single parent. We'll just say mothers right now. But
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
unrealistic. You need two incomes for a successful household. Having a singularity in income is a disservice to the child.
yeah. I mean, me personally, like I feel a lot of fathers that thinks like this, and I kind of graduate them for thinking like that or acting like that because in a way, when you put a mother or a father on child support, that mother or that father is taking care of two households. He's taking care of yours and he's taking care of
Exactly.
his.
Exactly. But the
Now,
only disservice is to the parent that's outside of the home they're supporting. That's why logically and socially it disrupts
right.
because there's no way to have peace when you have half of your income or less of an income to support yourself for someone that wants to live the lifestyle that you should be living.
Yeah. And like I was about to say again, like I see a lot of men tell their kids, no, where's the money I sent you? Ask your mama for the money I just sent y'all, whatever else, this and that for child support. I this and that. I'm not giving them no money. I see why some men say that because they really don't be having it. But if they do have it, it's like, shoot, that's a gift now. If I gotta give money to you to help these kids, with shoes or something else in that nature, that's just a gift. I don't get that back in return.
Right. Exactly.
So
It's
like,
abuse, financial abuse.
yeah,
I absolutely see that. But I just think that our culture is ruining itself because we have a romanticization, a fetishization of living on your own. And I think women, that's their goal. I think I'm saying this broadly. This is a broad stroke. I could be very wrong, but
it's
I
a
think
it's a
women like
it's a broke bitch hustle.
of being independent. I could do it by myself. But that's logically silly because everyone deserves or could benefit from a partner. We've gone away from partnership. And I think that we romanticize or put being independent on the wrong pedestal because that's not what it is. Being independent is the outcome you want for your kids. At
Yeah,
the end of their child rearing, they should be able to go out into the world and build something and include a partner so it could be stronger. But that's where we're losing in the culture because these steps aren't being taken. I
yeah,
really think that's why a lot of same sex couples exist. I think that young boys grow up in a house with women and they resent the men that aren't there and they don't want to be like the men that aren't there. I see it all the time. And there's no knock on any lifestyle. All I'm saying is that traditional heterosexuality is discouraged in our culture. And as a traditional heterosexual male, I
I'm
take
glad you saying
this.
that because I kind of glad you said that because these schools is actually teaching this heterosexual stuff too as well.
Yeah, they are.
Like they preaching it to the kids, oh, free be yourself, and it's okay to be that way, and all this other stuff. Because when we was growing up, they used to say it's a sin, it's in the Bible, you can't do that. Now it's be happy. It's like I don't know. Now I'm confused. Is it bad or is it not?
They encourage little boys to dress like little girls, and I think that again, I know men that put women on pedestals, men that don't want to cause pain because they've seen traditional male heterosexuality, and it's not something that appeals to them.
Yeah,
It looks too rough. It seems abusive, destructive. We call it toxic masculinity. But what is toxic in providing, loving, and growing your family uh, ethically? I think that's where, as a culture at large, we're missing it. We don't know how to maintain ethics. Fairness and justice are simply constructs.
yeah, you're right
I,
about that one.
I've seen it. I mean, we tell little boys that it's okay to wear a dress. It's okay to want to be a woman. It's okay to want to be a mommy. You don't have to be the daddy. I've seen it.
Uh, yeah, I seen it too. I don't think that's right. I
I
don't feel
I
like
don't either.
honestly. See, like I said, the schools is to doing it. You know, at a young age before they even hit middle school. So these kids thinking they gay before they even hit middle school.
It's
You know,
suggested.
yeah, it's adjusted there. But middle school is when you start to find yourself. So you start to see it. Oh, they just tomboyish stuff like that. You know, they just trying to figure out if that's what they actually want or this is what they actually want. That's how I was brought up in middle school. It wasn't just she dyking, you know what I'm saying, or he just a little feminine, he just soft, whatever, this and this and that. No, it was growing up in middle school, we was finding ourselves back then. This is what I want to be, or this is what I want to be here, you know,
I
or
wanted to be a toxic male. I knew when I was 9, 12 years old, I wanted to be a toxic male, as I call it now, because we're talking about. We discourage traditional heterosexuality because there were victims. I have I have somebody that I associate with. His father was abusive, and because his dad was abusive, he presents himself and says he's straight, but he doesn't want to inherit that traditional masculinity. He has relationship problems. He's always struggling to assert his dominance. And from my experience, what I don't appreciate is that I don't understand how you can be a pussy everywhere else in your life, but you want to be tough with the people that love you. Your
yeah,
friends that look out and want better for you become your enemies because you've been so brainwashed or pressurized by society and their hate for traditional masculinity. I think that's just one example, but I think that that's largely what has happened to our society as large.
confused. A lot of people, there can be a lot of things. Like I said, people just gotta find themselves when it comes to that. Like I say, you'll know what you are. Like a lot of people is say they are that's like you just explained,
Mm-hmm.
you just don't want to come out the closet or admit it.
Being scared of pussy is something that I will never be. And I feel, and my heart feels very uh, sad and heavy for men that are confused by our society because they don't want to come across as aggressively as my stream of consciousness is right now. It's scary to people. They are
Yeah,
unable to harness the power of masculinity, they're unwilling to be persecuted for it. And I created a platform specifically for that. Please visit themodernblackman.com, read our articles, listen to episodes of the podcast. I have enough experience in life to see how our culture is dying. The male culture is dying. And it comes from white men. It comes from white privilege. It comes from the abuse of the colonizer that has trickled down to us.
I agree to that. I can agree 100% to that. And that's why I pretty much got into the podcast. I wanted to give everybody a voice. I wanted to give everybody, even if it's, camera off or just audio period, I wanted to give everybody a voice to get something off their chest where they know they couldn't just say it or get it off from, or had a place to say it. So, and that's another reason, like, I started the podcast, like I was saying earlier, like the Shy, how they had a little man's group
Mm-hmm.
that sat around the table or sat in a circle or whatever and just talked about their problems. Everybody gave their little, suggestions on how they can fix it, stuff like that in that nature. That's another reason why I gave the platform as well. Me and my team was just talking about last night. We wanted to get some teenagers. Me personally, I want to know what's on these teenagers' minds. And I say this because I got a teenager right now that's 15, steady trying to get his hands on a pistol.
Right.
And nowadays, it's easier to recruit than what it was when I was growing up. You know,
It
when we
seems
was
like
growing,
it was prevalent when we were growing up, but it's easier to get kids now.
yeah. See, I'm 35, and back then, you really had to jump into a gang or at least do something bad just to be in somewhere. Nowadays, all you got to do is flash some money. People are like, I want to try to get that money or do something stupid just to get into a game. And just to get in the game, like I said, it's easier. It's just too easy to recruit now. It's way too easy to recruit these kids now.
They're impressionable.
You know, and just in Kansas City is like it's so crazy. Like I'm in Topeka now. Like I'm from the city, and going home every on weekends, just to see the town, see moms and see grandma and stuff like that is the visit. Just riding through the city, it's horrible, especially in certain areas. It's like it ain't got bad down certain areas now. It's just like, what is this? Like, what is this? Like, it's a video out right now with two kids, a little white kid and a black kid, off of Independence Avenue, trying to rob somebody, swinging a machete at somebody.
Yeah.
Me
They be
personally, I
robbing
carry.
with hammers and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I carry, and I don't care. And this is just me. I hate to shoot somebody's kids trying to rob me and swinging a machete at me, not knowing how old they are now. Because these kids nowadays look like they 30 years old, 21, can
Yeah.
be 15, 16, 17 years old.
Yeah.
I hate to shoot somebody's kid trying to rob me with a machete because you don't know what your kids is out here doing. It's
There's no authority. It ain't no authority.
it's
When
some
we
kids right
just
now.
met it.
It's some kids in my apartment, my duplex, where it's like a little apartment complex, whatever. But I stay in a duplex, a
Mm-hmm.
little solar stack or whatnot. And there's some kids over here, group of them. They all went together. Every last one of them, from 13 to 15. No, we gonna go down some. 8 to 15 group of kids on house arrest right now as we speak,
Yeah.
breaking and entering,
Yeah.
scaring white folks
Mm-hmm.
in stores, big stores, Targets, and everything else.
Who gave him that idea though? There's no authority. It's not
Yes,
about
sir.
alpha male versus beta male. It's that these kids can't be held accountable because they are at the top of the food chain.
That and like you said, they don't have no guidance.
Right.
And like I actually want to start a podcast And it's kind of hard to start a podcast with kids because you got parents, like me, be like, nigga, podcast. Who podcast you trying to get on? And why they want you on a podcast type deal? Like, I get it. But I actually want to start a podcast, and I actually want to flip it, like do a 30 minutes with like two or three kids, then turn around and do another 20, 30 minutes with the parents, you know. But I actually want to flip it, and this is where I kind of want to go with it because, like, I want to see where these different teenagers' heads are, where they see themselves 5 to 10 years from now, where they see themselves, being, with a family or whatever else in that nature, like, which they goals in life. I want to know because some of these parents, like you say, they like these moms, they just single parents. They don't know what their kids is out here doing. They don't know how their kids is thinking because most of them working 2 jobs. They just taking care of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's a win-win, lose-lose situation because it can hurt you, hurt your feelings, or it can open your eyes and be like, I didn't know that about my kid.
I got a lot of thoughts on that. I didn't gave the last 12 years of my life to this, man. Young people they're not tougher. It's that there's no one, you say no guidance. There's no one that can correct their behavior. I just say they're at the top of the food chain. I get so frustrated when I talk to young people as young as 12 or 13, talking about I'm going to be in jail in 10 years. My goal is to be in jail within the next 10 years. And that's different. This is
It's
going to turn into a little bit of a segue to delinquency, but I'm gonna do it. My
it's
generation knew how to get away with shit. These kids now get their
don't care.
clout from getting caught. That's
Yeah.
what's different. We were gangsters. They don't understand that. They're delinquents. They're everything that we fought to prove we were not.
See, when we was in the streets, we was taught the rules. It was basis to this. We was actually taught don't hit old people and don't touch kids. Don't touch old people and don't touch kids. You don't rob old people, you don't rob kids, or vice versa.
Right.
Those are the rules of the streets. Everything else is, fair game. You know? So by that being said, just like how you said, that's why I say there's no guidance because even with us being in the streets, we were guided.
Mm-hmm.
We was guided the right way to try not to get caught. Like you said, we were gangsters. It was
Right.
God, just like the Bloods
Media
and Crips.
influenced us, bro.
Just like the Bloods and Crips, gangsters. Any game you go, Vice Lords, GDs, Gangster Disciples. Uh,
Yeah.
any game you go to, it means something. It's a meaning behind that game,
Right.
just like it's a meaning behind Crips. It's a
Right.
community. It's a community.
Right.
They have rules. They have laws. They have restrictions. So if you go to jail, them rules, laws, restrictions, it's just like on the streets. It's there.
But these new ones, man, these what they call them, these YNs, they're doing it for, I guess, attention. They're doing it to get acknowledged because no one can relate to them and understand them. And I don't think it's even that deep. I think that this is the way they cope with what we've created in society. I'm not trying to go on a tirade, but economically, our children can see they don't have stability. They
Yeah.
will not be able to secure what their parents have. And this is their cry for help because this isn't about the parents. This is about the community, the country, and the world.
Yeah. You absolutely right. Like you said, like it's these kids, they just don't care. It's like you say, it's the clout. That's what they go by, is the clout. It's
Mhm,
all in the rap music for real, for real. Just
mhm.
like it's high, it's fun getting high, it's fun getting drunk. They listen to that. So now they want to get high, now they want to get drunk, they want to smoke weed.
Mhm.
But with us growing up, we was always taught smoking weed, getting drunk, getting high like that. you go to jail. What you do when you get drunk, you get a DUI, you go what? To
You can't
jail.
get caught slipping. That was a rule.
Yeah. So again, once after so many DUIs, you do what? You go to prison.
Yeah. They want to
Just
go
like
though. That's what's different. And they not gangsters though. They not built for it. It's that the media has taught them levels. It taught them rank. And they just want to be the king. They want to be the captain. They want to ascend to the top. And then they get there. Because that's
yeah,
what's happening. They go
yeah.
to jail and they don't know how to cope with it. All of a sudden, they realize they made bad decisions. And I think this is what our parents thought about us, that you have to go to learn your lesson. That's true. I don't want to say it's true with these kids, but it's the only time I see them come to a point of
It's
recollection.
a rapper that I was listening to, and I was listening to one of his interviews. He's been in jail several times, penitentiary. You probably heard of him. Best friends with Mac Dre, Jay Diggs.
Okay.
Listen to one of his interviews saying how he went to jail and everything else, how Matt Dre was in the car and everything, the whole 9 yards, how he got spooked, whatever. Come to find out, the driver was one of the co-defendants that was snitching and everything else in the whole 9 yards.
Exactly.
When
They
you
don't know how
start
to
having
protect themselves.
co-defendant, it's the system that's messing. And what I'm trying to say is, it's the system that's getting these kids. As in, like you said, the website, the system for like the internet is getting them, the system is getting them, the whole everything is getting them. So like I said, it's just the system period. Because when you follow that system, now it's in this system here. Once you go through that system, now you're behind that bars in that system. Now you're starting to get your clout. Now you're starting to do this. Now you're starting to do that. But you don't know what goes on behind them systems and them doors.
Right.
See,
They don't have any truth. And this is their way of lashing out because all the things that we said.
yeah, like I've been there, been in the streets. That's one reason why I want to try to give, back to the community as well. They want to do this for these kids. Just because, like I said, I've been there, I've been in the streets. I done had my shootouts. I done had my doing twelves being jumped, stuff like that in the whole 9 yards. And I tell these kids, if you're gonna be in the streets, be in the streets. I can't stop that. You
Right.
know, that's your choice, that's your desire. Go for it. But if you're gonna be in the streets, just know, no sooner that you pull that trigger, I don't care if you hit something or if you didn't hit something. Just know your life has changed.
Yeah.
It
Streets
ain't
is
no going.
undefeated.
It ain't no going back. It ain't none of that. Your life changed, bro. Because any minute given time, you can get it, and even given time, somebody's gonna come back and return that fire, that same fire.
Yeah. It's romanticized, man. And they think that our era was rap videos. They think our era was the pretend, like we see in theirs, how they're not even scratching the surface because we had a code of conduct. You had the G code. You had rules to abide by. And I think I was making a point earlier. I'm not gonna lie. Media influenced us as children. Like I don't
Yeah,
know if you remember any of the movies from the 80s and the 90s, but look at those flicks versus what you see in current media. Goodfellas, Clockers, Belly, even is probably the height of it. You had to menace to society, boys in the hood, like Colors. There were there were guardrails, there were
yeah,
boundaries, there were things that you didn't do, and there was also motivation.
yeah.
These kids now, they're just doing it because it's learned behavior. They see the results that other guys that survived it got, the clout that they got, attention that they got, and they're going after it.
I
They're
asked the teen-
media
I
whores.
asked the teenager this since you talked about G code.
Mhm. They don't know nothing about it.
Since you want to talk about G code, I asked the teenager this one day.
Hmm.
I sat there and I sat him down. I was like, I see you trying to be gangster. I said,
Right.
let's go. Let's go about apply by the G code. I said, since I'm the old nigga and I'm the OG, I got more ranking than you got. I said, if I supply you this gun, I need you to go peel this. I need you to go peel somebody's cap back, and ain't no looking back. You need to do it. You got to do it right there and then.
He said he'd do it, and that little nigga snitched on you so quick. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't mess with these little ones, man. Like it's not the same. Because there was a point when you would know you don't snitch on your friends. You don't snitch on nobody. You don't tell nothing. But the way they get down now, they be the damn prosecutor. It's crazy.
And I told him straight up. I said, look, you get caught, you don't know me, and you better not snitch because I didn't give you shit. You did it on your own.
Right.
Because if I come in your paperwork and they come looking for me and I catch you and I see you in the court, if I see you in any type of jail cell, I'm telling you now, I'm gonna beat the dog out of you. Just because that's the G code.
Right.
So I hope you really ready for this game. And they just be looking at you.
Because they don't know.
I be big. I'm being real. Like the wife just had just posted a video on her TikTok. And I congratulate the old dude for this. His son and his best friends were sitting there flexing on Facebook with a pistol. So the daddy sat him down while the mama recorded and was sitting there harassing the friends, telling them to pull the fuck up, and smacked the son and told him what the hell he was doing wrong and everything else, and told him I wish they would pull up because I and they like to why I fucked you up. Over mine. I'm protecting you.
Right. They resent that, man. It's a different day. I'm telling you. It ain't no hope for them because I know exactly what's gonna happen. It's the bitchification of the young people. They've gone full hoe. There's no more masculinity at the foundation of things, so they don't know how to stand up. That's just a thing in the past. It's not the same. I've seen it too much and too long. Like I said, I've been doing this for more than a decade. These young people are not the same.
When you get in front of, if you somebody with power, got somebody voice, when you get in front of these young people, when you got authority in your voice, they ain't got to know who you are. When you got authority in your voice, and you get in front of these young people, like you said, they bitch up. It's kind of like being a police officer or a judge. They bitch up.
Right. Which gives authority to police and judge, which are hella corrupt, and they don't know how to fight injustice. They just go along with it. It's a destabilization of the community, and I mean that's what we as men have to stand up to help rectify this. It's gonna take another generation, man. It's gonna take 40 years because it's deeply entrenched in the culture for all the reasons that we talked about. As far as
that's why we do homeschool. Like my she about to be 5 in December. With my 5-year-old, even though we homeschool her, she's actually learning sign language.
Okay.
Through the homeschool program. So it's like we teach what we want them to learn and want them to know through homeschool.
Yeah,
they had a little stuff, little assignments here and there, but we teach what we want them to know, what's going to benefit them in life, like the math. You got to know how to multiply, subtract, and divide, and add. Yeah. We're gonna teach you the basics. The fractions. You really ain't gonna care for them fractions like that. Ain't like you're doing geometry. You ain't gonna do geometry like that. So the fractions, sometimes you're gonna really use fractions when you cook it. So you really ain't gonna really need it. So we do what we think is viable for them to learn. Like the wife be teaching the boys, like her older boys, about securities. Even though he's in school, whatever, he's learning endorsements, securities, how to file for different things when it comes to international, pay orders and stuff like that.
That's right.
She's been teaching them that, and
that's real education, man.
Yeah, Just like I be teaching them the laws. When if you like coming from the police, what they can, what they cannot do, how to whatever else, this and that. From the how to keep yourself private from out the courtroom to the public.
Mm-hmm.
We teach them all that. Everything falls in place for everything.
I fear for these young people for all the things we talked about. It's a new day, and they're following a new way. It's not. It's not what we knew. It's not just, and it's going to have to fix itself in their lives because
Yeah.
you can't keep doing that. It's not sustainable.
I, I feel like all these kids should know what's a trust. The difference, two different, cause what, two, three different types of trust? Several? I don't know about the three. But yeah.
Living trust, and they don't know. They don't know, and it's not
But
applicable to our children all the time is the problem. But you teaching them that is what makes it a real thing.
like, people don't know, like once you get that ticket, you sitting on the side of the road, police officer say, hey, you need to sign this ticket, whatever. Just by you having a certain thing on your license, when you get that police officer, even if you don't know, you have to give. Say you just wanted to buy with the officer's rules, and you just don't know what your laws or your rights, your laws are. You give your ID, stuff like that in that nature, right? Just by one thing being on your ID, 1-308 without recourse.
Mm. You signed it away.
Without recourse. If they see this on your ID and they still give you that ticket, you sign your name just like that on that ticket without recourse. So when you go get that summons, and people don't know what an actual summons is when you go to court, from when they
Right.
see you in court. When you get that summons, one or two things can actually happen when you send it back in 3 to 72 hours
Mm.
on certain days. They can even tell you to come in. You have to be to this court case, or they can drop that court case, which means drop the ticket all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Dismissed without prejudice.
Right. No ticket.
Yeah. It's a sad day for me, man. I told you, my heart breaks because education is so much more difficult in our current era because all the information is available. Back in
Yeah.
our day, the information wasn't available.
I got a whole book right now, and I put on Facebook like, hey, I want to start a class, and I'm learning as well as myself. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
willing to start a class. I put it on. I had to status. Hey, I'm willing to start a class because I'm learning as well myself. But I'm willing to start a class to help everybody learn how to beat court cases. I just need at least 30 people to like this status and share it. I had 8, so I left it alone. I got all the steps, well, book or all the steps right now highlighted. Starting off how to start yourself, keep yourself out the public and be private. Like most people don't know, you can actually run your name and actually go through court or go, all your court stuff can actually be ran through your trust, which the courts don't like it because they
I
have to
ain't
drop
know
that case.
that. I ain't know
Yeah,
that.
the courts don't like it because they have to drop that case. They can't run nothing. That's what I was trying to tell you earlier about that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well,
trust is a
Professor
powerful
A,
thing.
I want to provide that to my audience. If I create the platform for you to display the information, is that something we could do?
We can do that
I mean, we can make that a
because I
30-minute,
feel like that's
one
something
hour course.
everybody. I feel like that's yeah. I feel like that's something that everybody need to learn, and I do that for free. I'm willing to do it for free.
I mean, we could probably eventually monetize that, but that's valuable information. And I mean, making it available is the important part, doing our part. I would love to do that. So I'll just throw that out there. If you're gracious enough to follow up on that opportunity, I would love to be a conduit to providing that to the community. I'm all about that for sure. I'll leave that part alone.
It
Uh,
goes from It goes all the way from to it teaches you all about the three courts, the legislative, the executive, the judicials. It teaches you what the actual summons is, the summons, the summons are as well, because that's where it all starts to get you into court. But yeah, it teaches the all three courts, the 12 presumptions, what the courts go by to try to get you to confess and whatever else now the whole nature. Um, which that tells you in the 12 presumptions that they can't charge charge you period anyways, because if you think about it, the first thing they do either with a traffic ticket or anytime you go to court, they call you by your last name and the state of you were in.
Right.
The state can't do anything. It has to be a live legal person that's suing you. Technically they're suing you. That summons, that court thing they send to you, ticket,
Hmm.
that's pretty much the warrant for your arrest.
Right. It goes back to English law. Absolutely.
Yeah, it takes you to. Uh,
I'm all about that. You have no idea. If that's something we can
yeah,
get.
well, my bad. I said that wrong. My bad. She corrected me. I
What she
did say
said.
that wrong. The summons is an invitation to you to come into their world. Pretty much, they don't have jurisdiction, and until you come in, and it talks about jurisdictions. Yeah, that's on there as well. So yeah, the legislative, the executive branch, judicial, the 12 presumptions, jurisdictions, the right of recessions, name corrections, adult name change, postmasters, what 15 USC 1692 G is, the warrant, surety ships, and abatements. And abatement. So it talks about
Babies.
everything. Yeah, it talks about everything the court does on how to be the case.
I want to do it. So we can probably get together and try to plan that. Um, I would love to provide that information. We could put that in a section somewhere. I would love to do that. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
So it's all we got to do is find the time, and I would love to hear that information myself. Providing would be great. Maybe next weekend we do that, but I'm all about it.
we could try. We could do that.
Yeah, I'm all about it. You got a few shows that you're leading the charge in. How can everybody find you? Like, what's the best way for people to be able to digest your content, because you're on palatable, potent, and relevant information like this? Where can anybody listening find that?
Oh man, let's see. Everybody can pretty much find us right now. We are on Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, and Facebook. You can find us, and I'll drop all names because everything is different. You can find us on YouTube at Crown My Table Studios. That's the name of the channel. You'll notice us because we got a Talk Royalty picture on there. Crown My
Yeah.
Table Studios.
Okay.
Um, for Spotify, it's 2-in-1 channels in Spotify. I can go back and forth on there, but same thing. One is for everybody's stuff as well. Um, it's only one thing that's on there so far that I got on there, and that's just one episode, which is pretty much our second episode for Family Talk. Which that's the other Spotify channel, Family Talk podcast. So it's just a lot. I'm trying to get everything monetized into one, but right now, Crown
It's
My Table
diverse content.
Studio. Yeah, Crown My Table Studios for YouTube and Spotify for the other channel for Spotify. Um, Family Talk podcast. The other channel if you want to watch everything on is Men Talk Podcast on Facebook. So yeah,
Man Talk on Facebook, Crown My Table Studios on YouTube, and Spotify has Family First. Is that right?
yeah,
All right. I mean, a wealth of information. Literally, the whole family. He's got a lady over there that's got plenty of information too. together. They're a power couple. I'm just grateful to be able to get some of that information. We'll see what we're working with next week. Um, is there any social media that you prefer to share to anybody that might be able to get to you?
Um, right now, I mainly work. I barely so often use my Instagram. I try to use it. You can catch me on TikTok,
Okay.
Talk Podcast. Um, and I operate on Facebook a lot, so you can catch Man Talk Podcast on Facebook as well. So I'll be on both of them. Please just like, subscribe, follow. If you catch us online doing the show or one of the guys doing the show, tune
Yeah.
in, share the live. We
I
gladly
share their
appreciate it.
content a lot now. I'm trying to get that on my Meta platform. I just like what they're doing. I like their content. Um, absolutely. Until
We
the
be
next,
trying.
definitely follow this man, follow the mission, follow the family, and keep the family first. You see where I'm at on all platforms. It's at Chubby Idris Elba. We're gonna get back together. We're gonna do some more. I just appreciate you making the time. I really appreciate you making the time for me tonight, man.
Always, always, likewise. I wanted to
Until
do it and everybody else kept faking me on it. I don't like getting on. I don't like doing shows by myself. I feel like I'm talking to myself. It make me feel like I'm crazy, so I don't do it. So I like to have
you got
somebody to
good
talk to.
content, man, to be doing solo shows though. You got good informative content where you could really be teaching some stuff. Um, but I appreciate you making the time, and I do hope that we get together next week. I hope that we can try to find some time. Um, you see where I'm at the bottom. I'm on everything social. It's the same handle all day. Um, blessed to be here. Till the next episode, y'all. Peace.
Peace.